I have the true pleasure of introducing our student speaker. She's your current permanent class president, Holly Gray. Miss Gray, yes. Miss Gray is from Tyler. She got her bachelor's summa cum laude from SMU as a psychology major. She's been a leader throughout her time at Texas Law. She's been head society coordinator for the society program, vice president for programming for the SBA, a member of the student steering committee. She was choreographer for Assault and Flattery. But my personal favorite, she was, as many will recall, she was dean for the day. On the occasion, we chose the day to be the day of the annual alumni awards, like black tie formal, and she agreed to do that. And she completely stole the show then, just as she's about to steal the show now. After she graduates, she'll be working for V&E in their Dallas office. But for now, it is time to reprise that role, bumping me off the podium. Friends, please welcome your permanent class president, Holly Gray.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Dean Chesney, Dean Bangs, the incredible faculty and staff at Texas Law, and the family and friends who are here today to celebrate the class of 2026. It is an honor to speak to you today, and an even greater honor to not have to follow the legendary Mac Brown. If you were to ask each of us what these last 3 years were like, you'd probably get 100 different answers. Intense, transformative, exhausting, but somehow fulfilling. But looking back, I think there's one thing we can all agree on. None of us got here alone. From our first day of orientation, we were welcomed into a community that is uplifting, encouraging, and grounded in a pretty simple idea. At Texas Law, we help each other. After hearing horror stories from other institutions, or maybe just watching Legally Blonde a few too many times, we came in expecting that cold calls were meant to embarrass us and that there was a competitive culture inherent in law school. But we quickly learned something else. UT is different. Not simply in the academics, the opportunities, or our national reputation, which are all outstanding, but it's the people who show up for each other in the big moments and the small ones. On the first day of our second semester of our first year of school, which those in the business refer to as 1L, one of our classmates' apartments flooded. And not just a small leak, real damage, the kind where you're told to move out immediately. He lived alone and needed help. So he sent a message to a group chat made up of first years we took every class with, our section, the very people he's in direct competition with for grades on the curve. But without hesitation, people showed up. Despite the chaos of 1L, a new semester, and all the responsibilities that come with it, people dropped everything. They packed boxes, carried furniture, and made sure that he didn't have to go through something overwhelming by himself. What makes that moment so meaningful is that it wasn't unusual. It was just the biggest example of what we had already been doing for each other. We also showed up in the everyday moments. We sent messages in GroupMe reminding each other what page we were on in torts. We played witnesses for our classmates competing in mock trial. We eagerly attended the first day of school of our last semester to welcome back our friends who studied abroad last fall. We made law school not just manageable, but actually fun. Whether it was flag football games or our competitiveness far exceeded our athletic ability, or bar reviews where we convinced ourselves we were taking well-deserved study breaks and we could absolutely make it to 9 a.m. property the next morning. Those moments mattered, and those moments are a big part of why we're here today. And this community didn't just show up for each other, it showed up everywhere. The class of 2026 swept national competitions. The first class of the Law and Business program graduates today after completing robust studies in the foundations of corporate law, uniquely preparing them to enter a career as a transactional lawyer. We attended the last Hex Party ever. That's a Halloween party sponsored by our student government, if you didn't know. And spoiler alert, it's no longer taking place. We made our own paths in law school, approaching this difficult process in different ways from different points of view. Veterans, first-generation students, teachers, musicians, athletes, accountants, actors, social workers, and the list goes on. Some of us were balancing law school with Division I athletics. And some of us were just trying to figure out what the rule against perpetuities actually is. But that's what makes this class special. There's no single story of how we got here, just a shared one of how we showed up for each other along the way. If these last 3 years have taught us anything, it's this. This was never going to be an individual achievement. It might look that way from the outside, or really from our LinkedIn posts, but that's not the full story. We wouldn't be here today without our classmates who supported us, our friends who showed up, and the law school community that carried us through. And even more importantly, we wouldn't be here without the people who supported us long before law school ever began. Our families, our friends, our partners, and our pets. Thank you for listening to us talk about cases you probably didn't understand and probably didn't really want to. Thank you for taking our calls when we were overwhelmed. Thank you for reminding us again and again that you believed in us. Whether from across the country or across the dining room table, you carried us through. Today isn't about just celebrating what we have each accomplished. It's about recognizing everything and everyone who made it possible. As we leave here and enter the legal profession, that's something worth holding on to. We did not do this alone. And based on everything I've heard about bar prep, we're going to want to keep it that way. The world doesn't just need smart lawyers. It needs lawyers who understand the responsibility that comes with it. To uphold the law and ensure the integrity of the legal system. We need lawyers who step up, lawyers who pay attention when something isn't right, lawyers who remember what it felt like to need support and to be able to give it to someone else. These last 3 years have shown us we already know how to do that. We've been doing it for each other, and now we get to carry it forward. Because wherever we go next, courtrooms, firms, public service, the best thing we can take with us isn't just what we know, it's how we show up. Congratulations, class of 2026. We did it!